Well, hello there, everybody. It is August 9th, which means I am a whole week and a half almost late on my monthly retro. If you guys is first time here on the channel, welcome to my monthly retros. This is my series where I go inside deeply into my business, show you the wins and losses. As you can tell from this screenshot, we have been at it a while. 29, almost 30 straight months since February 1st of 2024. I began recording my entire journey, and this is the series, what I call my monthly retros, where I show you guys transparent profit, loss, finances, opportunities, wins, losses, lessons, and I just put it all out there and build in public. If you guys don't know me personally, howdy, I am Andy. I have long blonde hair, and I own two businesses, two and a half businesses. Main cash cow is my studio, MMG Design. We do web and SEO for B2B healthcare. Other business that I'm building is the CMO, the Columbus Marketing Organization, which is the premier network, masterminds, and events for Columbus marketers here in Columbus, Ohio, where I live. And the third is my podcast, which is kind of an amalgamation of what content is as a whole for me. That's how we get a lot of our leads for the studio. And I've been running this podcast this week, if it tells you, is episode 170. So I've been doing that almost the entire time since I've been recording these retros. These retros live on the Andy the Marketer YouTube channel, which is not this channel, because this is less client-facing content that I want to use to share to help people that are 1 and 2 steps behind me in the journey. So if that describes you, welcome, and I look forward to sharing this with you. But yes, so I usually record these the first day of every month, and I've been a little bit behind on it. And I'll be honest with you guys, July was not a great month from a revenue perspective, but then I always feel so much better after I go into the finances and I just look at everything. And I realize there's a lot of reasons that factor into the low objective numbers performance. And it helps me feel better about it and also empowers me to take control of them. Because as my father told me growing up here in Midwest Ohio, very traditional to this area, is that the power follows the finger of blame. I think Alex Hormozy says that as well. So if you take control for the numbers rather than blaming external circumstances, you are now in control to change them. So our normal format, we use a bunch of different tools here. I started using CalDraw because I can annotate some things, and if I want to illustrate a concept as I share my lessons this month with you guys, and I have this board open. But usually we run everything here in Notion. I also have been keeping track of a few things here in my Homebase app that I built, all client-facing, which I will blur out these client names. But let's get into the tracking for this month, which I do 100% in Notion. So yeah, top line business revenue, $8,200, which if we look at past months, obviously is down. Last month was 21. Not the worst month of the year, but not anything to write home about either. So 8,000 this month, which brings us year to date at 106,500, which puts us fairly behind our goal, on pace for our goal of 250,000 for this year. And there's a lot of factors that go into this, so I'll just go through and explain one at a time. If you guys are new to this series, Monarch Money is the absolute perfect software that we use to track all of our finances, because at the end of the day, business is nothing but a game of finances. And if you aren't good financially, then you're really shooting yourself in the foot. But this is how we categorize everything. So this is the income here on the left. By the way, for us technical people in the audience, this is called a Sankey diagram. On the left represents all of our inputs, and on the right represents all of our expenses, and we can see where they clearly go. Financial, that also adds another layer of like broad categorization before you get into the in-depth categorization. What I love about this is we can click on each one and it shows us exactly where our expenses went. This was a lump sum, so once a year I just take out $7,500 and put that in my Roth IRA, and I will be doing the same soon for a solo 401k. But that was a big part of our expenses. I don't technically categorize that as an expense; it's more of an investment, which is why it's labeled as such. Taxes, $125 a month. That's just for our CPA. Business software and tools, $3,000. So let's go into that. Shopify, we host a client site on Shopify, which should be no longer paid for, so that needs to change. Webflow hosting, $40. Higgsfield, that was an experiment. I would show you guys that video. I tried to create a logo animation for the podcast, which just ended out turning out terribly. Like it Was not worth it. Not a big fan of Higgsfield, but we have to stay up with the trends, and playing around with AI tools is part of that. SE ranking, $129, so we manage all of our clients' SEO in. ClickUp, project management, $40. Reloom for wireframes, $26. Canva, $30. Webflow hosting for a client, again, $29. Folk, $30. We gotta. I'll set that as a goal for this month, is to trim some fat on these, because I'm not a huge fan of these trend. Moxie, I can definitely get rid of this tool. Excuse me, I can definitely get rid of this tool. That's what we use for proposals in a past life, but we've kind of scaled out of that. Riverside, $29. Workflow, $29. That's for website QA. OpenAI, $20. This, I'm not sure what this is. I think it's the transfer fee. Shadow Realm, that was, we paid money. We paid for a consultant, which by the way, I'm going to make a full video. I recently worked with a founder consultant, a very seasoned entrepreneur. Shout out to Yannick, who basically did a deep dive on my business, taught me what I was missing. Just basically did a deep dive of all of our past clients in the past 2 years, and I learned a ton of lessons from that. That I'll be sharing some of them with you guys today, but I'll definitely plan to make a dedicated video all about that. $29 again, Webflow hosting, Anthropic, Quad, Google Workspace, 60. Wow. Yeah, this is starting to stack up a little bit. I'm going to set that as a goal for this month at the end, to trim the fat and end some of these subscriptions, because it's getting, obviously, agency-wise, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Back to the Sankey diagram, $1,300 on our contractor labor, $300 a month on business rent. Anything categorized as business in these brackets here at the beginning, by the way, are business expenses, so these are technically write-offs. $1,600 on a mortgage, because, by the way, we're homeowners now, guys. $230 a month on groceries, $100 on gas, and $28 on garbage, which is, again, part of our becoming a part-time contractor for our house now that we're doing a bunch of repairs. So that's where the money came and went this month. $7,000 from the agency, $5,000 in interest, which is personal allocations for my investment accounts. We go to my full dashboard here. We can see everything, which, man, you guys really have the keys to the city now. Credit score, this, I should not be showing you guys this. Okay, back to Excalibur. But yeah, that's how everything was spread apart from my 3 entities: podcast, agency, and marketing organization. Let's drill down into this month, where I have my wins, losses, and lessons, so I can share some of these with you guys. Wins from this month. I show these wins, concerns, and then I set goals. And I like to attach a photo of my camera roll, because I find it's a good way to do a reflection and see where I spent my time this month. And it's a good way to reflect. So wins for this month, we do have a few. Marketing agency leaders lunch is real and working. So for the past several years, I wanted to host some kind of an agency leaders gathering, because a lot of our referrals come from agency leaders, other agencies, CMOs, service providers. And while referrals are traditionally viewed upon, if you are a marketer or if you are a service provider, referrals are traditionally viewed as things where you can't control them. And while that is true, you can't directly do one-to-one outreach to generate referrals. In a lot of cases, you can control the inputs that generate referrals. So that's a big motion behind our podcast. And I've been making a very intentional part of my strategy to build that up. So long story short, I told myself, hey, come hell or high water, I'm going to get this event put together. And on August 27th of 2026, I still have several people left to invite. But right now we have 20 confirmed participants, which is actually higher, 23 now. And I still have a lot more people to invite, who are going to come and break bread at North Market in Dublin on the 27th. If you're from Columbus, North Market is basically like a indoor farmer's market, where there's a bunch of different food vendors and like a cafeteria of tables in the middle, where anyone can get the food that they want and then meet to break bread and connect with each other. So I don't have to, I was looking at this from the perspective, okay, I want to coordinate some kind of gathering, be a connector, introduce complementary service providers here in Columbus, picked a central location, and just picked a format. And shout out to Chris LaFay, who is an agency owner in Atlanta, who has really innovated on this topic, and he does it every single month. So this is something that, based on how this one goes, I want to really make the most of this. I've hired a photographer, and I'll show you guys how I've been organizing everything here in Folk, which is my CRM. Hang on. Okay, so Folk is our CRM where we have different groups set up, and it does a really good job of syncing across LinkedIn, email, and adding context. I already have a lot of people here in different groups based on what I'm trying to work on. Basically, I've added everyone from a list here, people that are in marketing and in Columbus, either agency owners, CMOs, fractionals, things like that. And I have reached out one to one to everybody, and it has been remarkable. I've gotten so many people that have said, man, what a great idea. Thank you for putting this together. And there's so much great social value that you build when you personally invite someone. A line I've been using is just thought of you. This came to mind right away. Language like that has been very helpful. And I think when someone reaches out to me, like I want to feel that way too. It's not like a cold pitch or a mass invite email. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this. I am nervous because I've never done something like this before, but I really look forward to over delivering. I got some customized cards. I wish I had them here to show, but I got some customized cards. I'm gonna get a certificate to Cohatch for a free week of co-working and write a personalized letter to everybody that comes. And I'll have photos to share as well from the event. So really looking forward to that. That's probably the biggest win from this month. Connections. I had so many coffees this month with people, probably 2 or 3 a week. And it's just been amazing for my mental health to not be lonely and to have something to look forward to during the day that's, social. Because I can really get, like, even this weekend, it's Sunday afternoon, and I will work or work out and eat, and that's basically the extent of my normal schedule. So that's been cool to do. But collaboration. So yeah, like I said, kind of with the events, that's basically what I was hitting on there. First ever sponsorship motions. So I had 2 people approach me for a sponsorship, which really kind of reminds myself that I should probably be pitching for this more often. 2 people, one was a past client who sees what we're doing with the Columbus marketing jobs newsletter and wants to explore a potential partnership there. It's a natural fit with his business because he is a head hunter slash recruiter. So working on some kind of maybe a webinar event, shout out to Will from Acumen Talent, or just like a sponsored placement in the newsletter for consulting. Other one was a past podcast guest, and I won't share too much about this one because it's still in the works. But a past podcast guest who he's a CMO for a company that's in web services, and they want to expand some of their content and have like a personal thought leader behind it. And he reached out to me, and we're kind of in the works on some kind of a newsletter content format that they can use under their brand, talking about websites. So that would fall under this bucket right here of the studio and also content. So 2 really good opportunities there to diversify those. So yeah, next up on the wins, losses, lessons. Recurring client base is going steady. Right now, honestly, 2 things that are hindering our recent revenue levels. One is the conversion of project-based work to recurring-based work. We had two projects wrap up this month that did not convert to recurring clients, and I didn't do a good job of positioning the value of the offer, but I'm getting better at that. And yeah, that's the biggest bottleneck. And the other one obviously is top of funnel. So we have 3 really good long-term contracts, and I made a LinkedIn post about it this week about it actually kind of popped off, which is ironic, and it seems to be the case with a lot of LinkedIn posts that will do well when they're not directly business related or they're more personal related. But 3 largest overall sum value contracts that have been pushed off when they had a committed start date. So that's been unfortunate, but we're learning. And this is supposed to be the win section, so I'm kind of rambling on here. Sellability roadmap. That's what I worked with Yannick, the consultant, with to operationalize. And this is everything that we had 4 like 2-hour long calls with each other. I had to come ready to each call with direct revenue stats, lead sources, and ranking like all of our past clients on a satisfaction basis, profitability basis. And it was remarkably helpful. And I highly recommend people to do an activity like this. Also, this is a very leveraged activity as well, reviewing your finances and sharing lessons. But basically, one of the biggest things that was revealed through these conversations was that a lot of our leads have come through podcasting activities. 80% of our client base from the last 2 years on the studio side has come from, and you're starting to see how all of these are overlapping with each other. A lot of our like our best podcast conversations, we record one every single week. What we realized is, say these are each hypothetical podcast episodes, about 80% either refer us clients, or become clients. I'm not even going to try and write that. But the main gist of this is that we need to operationalize the podcast to an extent to where we're targeted and who we're bringing on so that they can become one of those people. They either become clients or they refer us to clients. So when you think of a perfect referral partner, I shared this playbook in a lecture a while back. So definitely check out this video on the channel if you haven't. But basically, the strategy that I'm dialing in on and I need to get more consistent with is recording multiple podcasts a week with people who serve our clients in a different way. So CMOs in healthcare, consultants in healthcare, other web agencies in healthcare that start at a higher ticket price. Those are the ideal podcast guests. And we're beginning to operationalize that and really hit our stride here. I've created a pipeline here in Folk with what we call the Dream 100. So I deeply researched. I took one person who has referred us to most work from the podcast, and I created a persona and built an entire list of people that match that. And I'm doing diligent outreach to these people every single day and just moving people down this funnel with an outreach, commenting on their LinkedIn posts, building relationships, and making it an easy yes for them to say, to come on the podcast, share a conversation. So I've also built in a lot of automations on the back end to streamline onboarding, production, things like that. So that's a big effort that I'm working on currently. Finally got over myself and did the thing. I didn't want to record this one, but it actually felt really good to do so. So that's a win. Biggest win on paper, we did finally just sign a long-term contract, and on paper, this is our biggest financial value ever. So this is a 12-month contract with a 6-week website build and then 12 months of recurring revenue after this. And I won't share the exact, you guys will see the monetary value of the contract, but it's a perfect fit. They're in healthcare, and I'm really excited to work on this one. So things are starting to look up. And like I said, especially after last month's revenue, I wasn't stoked on this. So that just came in today's Sunday recording. That just came in last Saturday. So that just came in this Friday. So that was a really big breath of fresh air. Final wins, I was invited to speak at Otterbein, which is a college here locally, for their marketing students. I'm not sure how many students will be in the class, but it was a formal outreach from the head of marketing, the marketing professor over at Otterbein, who's a past podcast guest. And I'm really excited to do that. So it's cool that we're starting to get booked on. I know it's not South by Southwest or anything crazy like that, but it's still an opportunity. Concerns. Said lowest revenue month in a while. 2 long-term warm projects fell through. Repeating pattern with a website launch. Like I said, terrible conversion of project-based work to partnership-based recurring work. And a lot of that is my fault and how I'm positioning the offer. And I talked with Yannick about this, who's a consultant that I work with. And he gave me a lot of good tips for how to do that, like baking it in from the beginning, writing it in the initial proposal, things like that, and just doing a better job. And to concur with that, we do have one client who has been unresponsive, and 2 has just been pushing back deadlines, asking for more QA time, and I haven't enforced schedules and leniency the way that I should have. And now I'm paying for it with my time, and it's been a huge drain on my mental energy, and it's been unfortunate. So that's been a big loss this month, is just the drain of energy of what was initially a great project and has just continued to falter. Lack of confidence and a failure to pitch myself. I need to have dedicated outreach time every day. I have an account list in Folk where I need to just send one-to-one direct pitches. And obviously there's a right and a wrong way to pitch yourself, but I've been loving recording like Loom breakdowns. So like if I look at my Tele account, I just took 10 healthcare websites and I just straight up recorded a like 45-minute breakdown, just going into all of them. And that was actually a lot of fun. It was just 10 different websites. And what I can do is kind of chop this up and append a quick email with it and send it to each of those ICPs. It was like 35 minutes. But yeah, that's what I need to do. I started kind of clipping up one of them right there, but it's just trying to be value-led, helpful first, and then positioning it to them. And then if they convert on it, then start a conversation, look for a call, things like that. But that is if I view like highest leverage activity, obviously it's stuff like this and content But that direct one-to-one outreach with, potentially people that are in the sales funnel that could potentially convert, like 2 conversions from doing that outreach is just it just changes the business. So it's something that you have to be consistent with, and you have to reinforce the value of it, because while you're doing it, it's not reinforcing. So I just have to remind myself of that and have times like this where I just drill that in my freaking head, apparently. All right, moving right along. Bad structures with food and lack of focus. I've had a couple episodes where I've binge eaten, and I don't love the word binge eaten, but I realize right in the moment it's because of stress. Like I like the Sunday scaries, moments like that. I've been fine today. But whenever I get a potentially stressful email or I have to dive back into like messy client work or something like that, I just want to lash out and self sabotage. And now that I know where it arrives from, I just need to be consistent on recognizing it and curbing, the lashing out. I also notice concurrently on days when I have coffee meetings or I meet people, I'm just happier and I don't indulge in self-destructive tendencies like that. So mornings, I just need to rethink my morning routine. I'm going to charge up my Whoop and use that as an alarm, because I need to get my phone out of my room. It's so bad and it's embarrassing, and sometimes it's 30, 45 minutes of my morning is just gone, and it's incredibly frustrating, and it's nobody's fault but my own. So that's what I need to fix on. That right there should be the highest. That's what I should shove all of my mental energy in on fixing, because that'll have a lot of downstream positive effects. So yeah, we can tell by this photo or camera roll right here, recording a lot of content for some thumbnail shots right here, going to a lot of great meetings. Andrew, Michelle, Amy, John. John is a freaking goat. Shout out John if you're watching this. Met Katie this weekend, my sister. Ran 10 miles yesterday, which is the longest that I've run in a while, and I actually felt really good. Also ran into Jay Klaus at a random coffee shop, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of things super fun. Okay, action items and goals, rounding this out here. Business, this is my goals from last month. Do 5 CMO outreaches. I definitely did that. Launch 2SP website project. We did not do that. Close Folio Health. We did not do that. Extend more sales opportunities. We did not do that. Life, we did not. Don't break on 75 hard. 75 hard is a mastermind. Is something I'm doing with my mastermind group where we are accountable toward doing hard things every day. That actually wrapped up this month, and I'm glad that we did that. That was a lot of fun. We did not go to CrossFit. We did not go to Run Club. We did not finish a book. Actually, we did. We finished. I've been reading daily meditations. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday is like 1 meditation per day. I've been really enjoying that. I did meditate once, so taking care of ourselves a little bit, I guess. Goals for this month, 25K revenue. We might already, from the new contract and recurring revenue, we'll probably already have that. So that's very much within reach. Organized team structure. Clark and Ali have kind of been falling off in communication, and I need to operationalize and get work ready for all of our team members before the day starts. Kind of a Groundhog Day problem that keeps arising. So I need to have a task, like slot the last 30 minutes of my workday to ask the question, okay, what is everyone doing? What is the team doing first thing tomorrow morning? And to increase content pieces per week. So I've been traditionally on weekends, I just record a ton of content like this. I've recorded 2 YouTube videos this weekend, and it's actually been a lot of fun. And I did it a little bit last week, but have structured calendar blocks throughout my week where I reserve them for content recording exclusively. I started to do time block a little bit, as you can see here, and that has been helpful. But I need to make it a week activity too, so I'm not rushing to get content out on the weekends or like Saturday night, Sunday night. Nail onboarding, new contract starting, nail that onboarding. What I want to do is I have all project ops set up in ClickUp, and something that I should have done a lot earlier was send calendar invites for every meeting point before the engagement starts. Really good way to set us up for success, and that's what I'll be doing first thing tomorrow. And crush the event, Agency Leaders Lunch. Get all those personalized tidbits in place, personalized cards, 1 week free trial to Cohatch, and just make it a great experience for everyone that goes. And I hired a photographer, so I'll be sharing with you guys photos come next retro. On the life front, finish plumbing repairs and begin house listings. So I got 2 quotes from plumbers, and neither of them was lower than $1,500 for a small plumbing job. So what I thought about doing is creating some kind of AI workflow where I hook up an SMS delivery system like Twilio or something like that to Claude and get quotes at a massive scale and kind of continue that conversation because I have everything existing related to the house repairs and its existing real estate project here in Claude. So I go to real estate. Everything is in here. I have the entire, inspection report and these past chats with all my dialogue of what needs to be fixed. I want to get that done because that'll be a 1-day job for a plumber. We have to order in dirt to just fill in the cracks of the front yard. I have to mow when I get home. But other than that, it is largely ready for tenants. So if you are an entrepreneur or if you're anyone in Columbus who wants a, less than $1,000 a month living arrangement for a 1-bed, 1-bath, and you want to rent, hit me up. 331. I won't say my address. Sorry. But yeah, that'll be really exciting. I'm not really keen on the cash flow income. I don't care about that as much, but it'll be cool to have some company to just learn the process. And yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Final goals wrapping up here. Begin house listings, begin new challenge with Ezra. Ezra is one of the members of our mastermind, the Scaling Studio, and we're going to start some kind of a focused mastermind together. He's getting ready to move soon, so TBD on the intensity of a challenge like this, but it really was really had positive rollover effects on my life while we were doing this, pushing each other. And I look forward to that helping me out and growing both of our businesses in the coming month. So that is July 2026. Apologies again on the delay in getting this out. You'll see this live on the Andy the Marketer YouTube channel. And until next month, until August, the end of August, I will see you guys next time.